Welcome to the collaborative. I'm your host, Sydnee Walker, along with ERIN Mulligan serving as guest co-host. Today, we are joined by Molly Morrison. She is a social programmer and on-camera personality for Bleacher Report, specializing in NBA content. Her journey in NBA media began at just 12 years old when she created an anonymous Memphis Grizzlies fan page on Twitter. Over 6 years, she grew it to 8,000 followers, making it the most followed fan account in the city. She has appeared on NBA Twitter Live and conducted interviews with current and former players. Most recently, she launched a digital series with Bleacher Report, covering NBA drama in her signature style. Welcome. So, Molly, to kick things off, you've built a strong personal brand in the sports media space, especially on social media. How did you go about establishing your voice, and what advice would you give to aspiring content creators looking to break into the industry?
Yeah, well, first of all, seriously, hi, thank you all so much for coming. I don't know if it's for me or because you're fans of this really cool podcast or show that they have going, but either way, it's really cool that y'all are choosing to spend your time here. My story, yeah, is that I started a Grizzlies fan page when I was 12, and from the ages of 12 to 18, I tweeted obsessively about the Memphis Grizzlies, which is my favorite team. I started it again when I was 12, and when I tell y'all, it was such a bad account. Like, it was not good. I was 12. I was talking about basketball like anyone would talk about, Taylor Swift or One Direction on a fan page. Like, it wasn't any insight. It wasn't funny. I was just like, yeah, beat OKC. But over the years, like as I continued to, learn more and mature and grow, I feel like I just started to tweet, from the voice of a fan. So the account was anonymous. It had like a profile picture of a Grizzlies player, but other than that, I never mentioned my gender. I never used any like wording that wasn't me or how I would sound, but people did end up thinking I was a man just because it's a sports fan page, I guess. So it was unintentionally a very fascinating social experiment. But in terms of like my personal brand, I feel like that was really the start of it, right? It was being a fan. I think a lot of people get told like if you want to be in the media space, you have to be unbiased, you have to be buttoned up and professional. And I think like in certain spaces, of course, that's true. But for me, like what's worked for me and what's gotten me this far was my fandom, specifically Grizzlies, right? Like if I hadn't started there, who knows if I would be here today. I definitely wouldn't be on this call with y'all. So for me, I think like just making sure I allowed like my passions to shine through and like really sticking with my niche is what worked. And you'll find that, what you're excited about, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of communities that are really excited about the same thing.
Yeah, that was a greater response. And I love how you touched on the fact that people think you may have to be buttoned up, but it's okay to be relaxed. And especially in the field of social, it's okay to be fun, dress down, be casual with people. And just how you're able to build your personal brand from where it started to now is really inspiring. So thank you for sharing that.
Graduating college, it's a time of excitement and fear and optimism, and everyone doesn't really know what they're about to embark on. But with you, I mean, I'm curious, when did Bleacher Report reach out to you initially because they came to you? And how has that journey been from your first days with them to now?
Yeah, so I graduated college with, I've said 100,000 to you. My dad actually called me to correct me. He's always my biggest, as Jaw said, his dad was his biggest hater. He's my biggest fan too, though. He called me and said I actually graduated with like 80 something thousand. So yeah, but still a significant amount of followers on Twitter when I graduated. Honestly, I was a little cocky in terms of the job market. I was like, I'm crushing it. I'm doing my thing. Like everyone's gonna want to hire me. And that wasn't the case. Like, not to scare you, but I just mean like it's normal. Sports is hard. It's normal for it to take time to find jobs, and like it can also be really sad and scary and upsetting. And I don't want like, I think I took a lot of risks in terms of like, oh, maybe there was a company that was semi interested but it just didn't seem like a fit. Like, for example, I wasn't like super interested at the time in working in a sports betting company. I just I've never bet on sports. But there were times that I was like, should I take these jobs? because they're offering them to me. And I think that would have been a really great thing, but also I ended up where I was supposed to be, you know. But yeah, it was not right when I graduated. The Bleacher Report was just like, here you go. Like, it took a long time. And actually what happened was, I tweeted like, hey guys, like, I've had a lot of people asking me what I'm doing, and like, I'm still unemployed. I was kind of shy to do it. I was like, I felt like almost like I was a failure in a way, which is really silly, but I did. And that tweet is what led my former boss, she still works at BR, to reach out to me, and we had an interview, and that's what happened. So yeah, I guess all of that to say, like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and like admit, you know, like, hey, like, I want a job, to ask people that you know for favors. Like, it's also, and also don't be discouraged when like you might think like, oh, I got this, because I certainly thought that. There were a few companies I thought I would have stuff lined up for, and they didn't have, you know, opportunities for me.
Thanks for saying that, because I think a lot of people in here and just in general need to hear that.
So the NBA moves at such a fast pace, and we often only see the final tweet or the final Instagram post and not the behind the scenes. Can you walk us through what goes into creating content at a high level from the off season all the way through the playoffs?
You're right. It is always moving at a fast pace. So yeah, my full-time job is social media at Bleacher Report, which I know she said, but I also do, like, I don't know how many of y'all might follow me and see what I'm doing. I also do some talent stuff like on camera, which is a separate job. But my like main like 9 to 5, or since we work in a crazy industry, 5 to 1 a.m. is working in social. So like what you see on the Bleacher Report Instagram, Twitter, that's me and my team. Yeah, it's very fast moving. And another thing, like, I obviously got hired, and like I was so experienced in terms of my social, but nothing like, you know, company is expecting you to come in and like not need help, because every strategy is so different. How do we navigate the fast pace? I'm like kind of horrible at it sometimes, because I'm a very like person. There are some people who on my team who are really great and can bring me down a little. Like, I'm the one that's like, oh my God, this just happened. But I think you just do it because you have to. And you know, like, it's not the best answer, but it's fun. Like, at the end of the day, we're covering sports, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of just the games and stuff, like, you are working with people who have done it before, and you will eventually become a pro just like them. It just takes a sec to get used to the speeds.
So, Molly, speaking of your positions at Bleacher Report, you do have your own digital series now. What was it like finding out you were getting that? And also, how do you stay true to yourself with everything going on in your career? Because it can be easy for people to, lose sight of themselves.
The series is on, it's a short series for now. Like, it's a TikTok. When I say like a short form, I don't mean like a short, only a few episodes. Yeah, it's just like a few minute thing that's right now lives on the TikTok, but I'm really excited about it. I also post the episodes on my Instagram Reels, which is something I was scared to do. I'm like, oh, I don't use Reels. So many of my, you know, people I know in real life follow me, but that's so silly. Like, post your stuff. Like, yes, even me, who you might think is like, I have those thoughts too. And you do it once, and then you're like, wait, this isn't embarrassing. Keep doing it. They reached out to me and were like, we'd love to do this. And I'm just really grateful and excited. I mean, Bleacher Report's a company that fit exactly the type of content that like I want to make and the voice I want, you know, just like a younger NBA type of voice, NBA focused, basketball focused. So it's really cool that, you know, I can translate something I've done so long and grind it out on my personal account. You know, it's not like I have this idea and I'm like, hey, Bleacher Report, and it gets done. No, you have to put it into practice. When I first tried to actually be on camera for Bleacher Report, I was turned down, not in any dramatic way, but just because there were people that's their job, right? And that's not my job. I do social media. And so what I did was, of course, I was bummed at first, but I started making TikToks on my own. And I think I improved a lot, you know, just doing that. And then eventually it led to me getting to do it for them.
Molly, thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. This was definitely one of my favorite sessions. Really appreciate your insights into content creation and your journey. You gave some great advice, such as bringing your fandom over to working with large brands and also not being afraid to post your content because you never know where it will take you. So thank you so much. And thanks to everyone for asking your great questions and tuning in.
Again, thank you all. And like, you're crushing it. Like I never joined these kind of calls, and I think that it's really important to just put yourselves out there. And just from speaking to all of you, I can tell you have very bright futures. So thanks again for coming.